Alright, and they're off. I think we've said it a million times, but Ceres Station, not a super difficult area, at least the first part. Just kind of running up to these doors, stopping in front of them to wait for them to open, and then coming up to Ridley's room here. And the fastest way to do this room is just to sit in the corner and let Ridley's tail damage you down to the critical level, which will make him steal the Metroid, and we can start the escape sequence. And now this next part here, bit of RNG. It's a little tricky sometimes. There's going to be a lot of steam popping out, some kind of difficult movement, especially through this next room, the old magnet stairs. Looks like they're handling it pretty well. Both having 49s coming into the last room. Should be like 45s if they don't fall here. Yep, 45s for both the runners. Nice job. That last room in particular can go really wrong if you get hit by a steam, because then they're just all out of sync and you can get hit multiple times trying to go up quickly. So looks like Hilborn has just a little bit of an edge. I'm not sure if either of these guys use Moonfall, but if one does and the other doesn't, they could create a little bit of a gap here at the start. I think the first Moonfall coming up here in the climb is like 4 seconds or something. And it looks like neither of them are actually using it. Of a good old-fashioned normal falling speed race. Both runners with pretty clean pits room, only falling in once or twice. Both runners using pretty similar strats for all these rooms. It's kind of cool. Hilborn just getting a slight little edge, just with slightly better movement. Ooh, and Hilborn falling in a couple of the pits there, giving Clayman a bit of an edge now. And it looks like both of the runners are going to be going for... Oh, JK. Clayman's doing the wall jump climb, and Hilborn using ledge grabs. And it looks like Hilborn having a bit more success with his strat. He's the first one up the climb. Ooh, and that is unfortunate for Clayman. He actually hit that Ripper on his way down, so now he's not at full energy. So if he goes to farm some of these orbs off Bomb Chorizo, there's a good chance he's not going to get all missiles, which could mean his fight will be a little bit longer. Might not be a problem, but we'll see. It looks like Hilborn didn't get enough drops to get his one round. And actually manages to beat BT a bit faster than Hilborn, so now he's back in the lead. It's interesting how back and forth these guys are. Some of these rooms in the early game, they're a bit punishing if you make a slight mistake. And we're definitely seeing it with the lead getting tossed back and forth. Ooh, now that's interesting. Hilborn is actually taking damage off of the pirates, which is likely an indication he's going to go down at Red Tower. Since if he was going to go up and fight Mantoon first, he really wouldn't want to take damage there and conserve energy for that fight. Look at this sink right now. This is pretty interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Hilborn do Kraid first. Both the runners nailing that early Supers mock ball. Ooh, and a super drop from that Rio. That's pretty nice for Hilborn. That's pretty low percent chance, I think. Oh, Clayman taking a hit from that metal scree, though. Those things do a ton of damage. It likely won't be an issue, since he's going to be doing Kraid first. You don't really need a ton of energy, but you might have to be a little careful, especially coming up to rooms with like key hunters, to not take too many hits. And yeah, Hilborn mockballing into Red Tower, so he is going down. This is cool. Like I mentioned earlier, this is a pretty important match for Hilborn to win if he wants to move on to the bracket stage. So you may just be thinking, with the gap between him and Clayman, if he just runs old route and does a really safe run and has very little risk of dying, then that's all he's going to need. Ooh, okay, Clayman down to 45. This is okay still, he won't be put in the health bomb range. He can't do a D-boost though, I don't think. I think it's 16 damage for that D-boost, going up to Kraid's Ghidorah. So, yeah, he's not going to take it. So now he'll get ammo off of Kraid instead of health, which is pretty important at this part in the run, so you can get out of here quickly. Both runners with a nice quick kill. Clayman having a little trouble finding the door. I feel you there, man. I do that all the time. Hilborn, not with super great drops. It is enough to get through pretty quick, but ideally he would have a bit more ammo. Does get a missile off of that Zeb, though, which is nice. Ooh, I think, yeah, he wanted to use a missile there, but I think menued a little bit before picking up that drop. And see Hilborn picking up this 4th tank. Well, this Kraid tank, which presumably will be his only extra tank. Yeah, it looks like Hilborn is going to be playing it a bit safe this race. Not only with the route he's taking, but also extra E-tanks he can pick up along the way. Ooh, that was a really nice business center by Hilborn. Not hitting any platforms on the way down. Oh, and Hilborn, I think I didn't watch, but I think maybe it's muscle memory from doing New Route, where you don't have to shoot that door open when you come in the first time. I think he might have forgot about that, which is why that door wasn't open. You have to actually kill that Sova before that door starts blinking and you can open it. And once you open it after doing that, you don't have to do it anymore whenever you enter the room a second time, like after getting high jump. But in New Route, you actually skip that missile pack and just kill the Sova after coming out with high jump boots. So it looks like muscle memory might be playing a little bit there on Hilborn. And yeah, with that, what happened there in the high jump room, Clayman getting a little bit of an edge again on Hilborn. But Clayman having a little bit of trouble getting up Bubble Mountain here. Hilborn getting it first try, he's caught right back up. And Hilborn didn't have enough ammo to open up this pink door leading to speed booster, so he had to actually go take a farm, whereas Clayman just ran right through the door. So they're still keeping it pretty close. Both these runners coming out of the Batcave with 3 or more supers and a good chunk of missiles. Ammo management is pretty important at this part of the game. There's this pink door that you have to open coming in to double chamber. And also this pink door coming into the wave beam room. And there's also going to be some green doors and Ghidoras coming up. So you really want to... Leaving that room with like 3 supers is pretty good. You shouldn't have any issues, really. Another important thing also is keeping a lot of energy during this part. If you hit a lot of these enemies, you could lose a lot of energy. And coming up to Phantoon, you're probably going to be shine sparking across the moat, and you just have to fight Phantoon. So maintaining a high energy count is important for survival. Both these guys picked up the Cray tank though, so they have a bit more leniency. And that probably won't be as scary if they take a couple hits compared to if you only had 2 tanks at this point. But Hilborn at full energy, Clayman, you know, 1 big drop away from full, so they seem to be doing okay. Oh, and I missed that. I guess Clayman skipping the wave missiles. Maybe cutting out a few safeties just to save some extra time and maybe be able to keep on pace with Hilborn. Not sure if he's watching the restream or not, but it's an interesting choice. And with that extra energy tank, doing Alpha Spark like Hilborn just did, it's actually a pretty good idea. Normally, if you only have 2 tanks here, you don't want to do that just because of the energy costs. It's not really worth it for the time that it saves, but good call by Hilborn. And Clayman had a little bit of trouble, got grabbed by the Yapping Maw, and Hilborn just had a bit more clean red tower, so we're starting to see a little bit of a gap between them. Alright, Hilborn coming up to the moat. He's going to charge his Shine Spark, and it looks like he's going to go for Ocean Fly. Maybe. I think he tried, but just didn't shoot his missile off before initiating the Spark. But either way, he's going to get over here to wreck ship with a lot of energy, including that various suit. Which, compared to New Route, it's a lot less scary fighting Phantoon with all that stuff. Clayman looks like not even going to go for Ocean Fly. Picks up the Melt missiles though, so he will be at 20 missiles actually. Maybe that's why he skips the wave missiles, because he just kind of plans on picking up the Melt missiles anyways. Alright, now Hilborn moving on to Phantoon. Getting some bad patterns here, or maybe just not handling the fight so well, could give Clayman some time back. It looks like Hilborn's going to get it slow to start off. Nice X Factor, lands all 4 of the particles. Just needs one more little Doppler to finish him off. It looks like he's going to go with the Doppler. Ooh, I think he shot that super just a little too late and Phantoon disappeared before it landed. I missed it, but I think Cleyman got a fast actually. Couldn't quite land all the X Factor particles though, which is unfortunate. And it's going for a Doppler in the next round. Yeah, kind of cool. Both these guys familiar with the 2 main strategies to take out Phantoon. Fortunately, Clayman getting punished with some slow patterns here. He might be able to finish off Phantoon. Yeah, he's looking pretty red now, so probably just a few more missiles and a super, and he'll be good. He does need to be a little bit careful. He's at 42 energy right now 22. Okay. Had just enough energy to take an extra hit there to set up that X Factor to finish off Phantoon. So unfortunately going to be getting a health bomb here, but he's still alive, so that's okay. And Hilborn looks like he may have been setting up to spark through the attic, but got hit when he went to lay his power bomb at the start, so he's just going to use some ammo to finish this off. Alright, Hilborn running through the bowling alley has plenty of energy to take a couple hits. And now he will wait to get his gravity suit. Clayman coming up in the attic. He is pretty low on energy, so sparking looks like he's going to spark anyways. Yeah, you can see he doesn't have a ton of energy now, but he did conserve some ammo using the spark instead. And luckily he does get a few drops off these enemies, so he is okay to run across the spikes as long as he doesn't get hit like 5 times, which probably won't happen, so he should be okay now. Looks like Hilborn's going to be going for that moat ball. Ooh, jumped a little too early. That's a really cool strat if you can get it. Now Hilborn coming back into Brinstar. He's got good energy for the Meridia section now. A little low on supers. He can farm these Cacatechs up here. Plus there's one more right before the tube. And he's got power bombs, so he should be okay. While Clayman, really good on supers, a bit low on power bombs, and a little bit low on energy, but there's a few opportunities to farm some enemies on the way to Meridia, as well as the refill station here that Hilborn's about to pass. So we might see Clayman take that if he doesn't farm any enemies in Hellway or something. And it looks like Clayman is going to farm those cack attacks, so now he does have enough energy to go through Meridia pretty comfortably. You want to have energy to do the Spark in Mount Everest, and you also want to have energy just so Batwoon doesn't give you a hard time. And in a lot of cases, you want to run into Batwoon to get a 1 round just because it's easier that way. And speaking of which, Hilborn coming up to that fight now. He's going to start off with an X Factor here, right where Batwoon opens up in that hole. Ooh, looks like he missed a part. Yeah, looks like he missed at least 1. So that's going to cost him an extra super, so now he'll need 7 instead of 6 to finish off this fight. Should be good. Oh, maybe he missed another one for a super. He's got Batwoon down now. Got 1 super, which is technically enough, but ideally you want 2 here because there's a green door and a Ghidorah coming up, and the Ghidorah is a lot slower just using missiles. And we'll see Hilborn attempting a full happy. Looked like pretty quick wall jumps. Ooh, maybe didn't have quite enough time there. Clayman doing a bit of extra farming off of these crabs before heading into Batwoon. It was good that he got that power bomb since I'm gonna guess he's gonna be using X Factors. And also a little bit more energy just to be safe. It looks like Clayman missed a particle as well. Likely it hit Batwoon's body, so he can start shooting now. Looks like he missed 2 supers, maybe? At least 1. Meanwhile, Hilborn starting his Dragon fight. I think he had a decent opener, but unfortunately, Goop's barking that second round. Now, kind of fortunately that Hilborn missed full halfy, and he also has this extra E-Tank. He does have a lot of energy to play with during this fight, so if he gets hit a couple times by Dragon, it's probably not the end of the world for him. But in my opinion, that's probably the scariest fight if you're going to go 3 tanks in this route, just because it's very easy to get too low and then get chain damage or something. And Hilborn finishing off Dragon with that Shine Spark, granting him a blue suit, which is going to let him store a free Shine Spark, provided he doesn't press dash at all. And he'll use it in the Coliseum in order to save a little bit of time. Both runners coming into the Precious Room at about the same time. Hilborn leaving, Clayman about to start his Dragon fight. Looks like Clayman's going to set up for that X Factor opener into a Shine Spark. Looks like he got some decent damage in. Ooh, unfortunately not getting a Shine Spark there on this goo round. So he's just going to settle for some missiles here. Should be one more Shine Spark for Clayman. Ooh. Yeah, you know, it's tough trying to Shine Spark here because, or Short Charge I mean, because Dragon is gooing, she's swooping, and there's just a lot of pressure to get the Short Charge off in time. Now, Dragon will swoop back on screen with a little bit of delay. Ooh, not quite hitting the hitbox right there. Should be pretty close to death still. And Clayman finishing off Dragon with the last of his ammo. Not a bad call considering his health. After doing another Shine Spark, he may not have had a lot. Could have risked dying to chain damage. And meanwhile, Hilborn picked up his Plasma Beam and now is on his way to Lower Norfair to take out Ridley and finish the game. With one little stop, of course, to pick up his Ice Beam on the way there, which will give him a little bit more damage output and also help him freeze the Metroids later on in Torian. Alright, Hilborn with a nice bounce ball, coming up to the ice room. So now with his full beam combo, for Hilborn taking out Ridley, and Mother Brain 2 only takes 20 charge shots each, which is a third of the amount it takes for New Route. So for a runner like Hilborn, it really trivializes those fights and just makes them so much more simple compared to New Route. Clayman also grabbing his Plasma Beam, making quick work of these pirates. He'll be on his way to Ice Beam. Hilborn taking the southern route actually from Ice Beam. Looks like he managed that pretty well, utilizing his new space jump in order to move across those rooms quickly. Didn't quite get a damage boost off of those Violas, so he's just going to hold a pseudo screw. So he can just go right through those Namahe flames. Space jump up to Ridley's lair. Ooh, and Hilborn not going for the Shine Spark there, but actually space boosting through all those pillars. That's pretty cool. You don't see a lot of people go for that. But yeah, not only is Ridley just much easier in New Route or in Old Route because of the beams, But this section in general is just so much better with Space Jump and Plasma. Space Jump just making some rooms a lot easier to traverse, and also Plasma Beam allowing you to take out all the heavy hitting enemies quickly, or just abusing their iframes to run through them by shooting your Plasma Beam as you pass by. You see Hilborn taking out these key hunters on his way down this room. It actually considerably reduces the lag in the room in addition to grabbing some drops. So that's a very cool strategy. One that you do not get to see in New Route. And Clayman with his new Ice Beam are actually going to be taking the northern route, which for most people is probably a bit easier to execute. Although I think it is a little bit slower by maybe like a second or two compared to the southern route. Oh, Hilborn setting up for a really cool strat, taking out those golden pirates. Unfortunately, they weren't timed quite right and didn't get to shoot both of them. Recovered very nicely. Oh, almost got that powerhouse too, but then he bonked right above the door. Alright, Hilborn should be about done with Ridley now. Should just need to get grabbed. Yeah, Ridley's down. Clayman, we'll see what he does. He may be setting up a Shine Spark in this Ripper room here. Give himself a bit more room. Looks like he got the short charge. And a nice spark through the pillars. Ooh, and this is interesting. Hilborn actually picking up the Ridley E-Tank. Looks like he's playing pretty safe, having 2 extra E-Tanks. So yeah, I think he's definitely wanting to play it safe for this run to ensure he's got a shot to go into the brackets. And Clayman not having too much trouble in the worst room in the game, which is not actually too bad in Old Route. Oh, and a nice speedball from Hilborn, breaking those blocks on his way out of Wasteland. And getting a little high five from our runners in the Key Hunter shaft. Yeah, these guys started very close. It was pretty back and forth, but I think in general Hilborn just had cleaner boss fights and also just slightly better movement in some areas, whether it was just using a different strategy or just being a bit more comfortable, not making it as many mistakes. Nice job by Clayman taking out those golden pirates. Yeah, like I said, you can see with Clayman right now, this full beam combo is just awesome for this section because you can take out these enemies with just a few shots or like charge shots. So you can play it very safe and take out all the enemies, pick up their drops, or just run through them. of course the Ridley fight is a lot shorter compared to New Route. Looks like Ridley's about halfway dead for Clayman. Should just need a few more shots. Oh, this is really scary energy for Clayman. He's gonna have to be careful. And it looks like Ridley is dead. And he may have realized he was dead, but didn't want to get grabbed. Taking a hit from the tail there certainly would have killed him, so nice job, Clayman. And he's going to go ahead and skip the Ridley tank, which is really not a bad call with the energy he has now. Like I said, you can destroy the enemies pretty quickly, you can run through them, abuse their iframes with the plasma beam. So as long as he plays it safe in a couple rooms, he'll be okay. Meanwhile, Hilborn, finally back in Criteria. He'll be heading over to G4. He'll get a little bit of a break before he has to finish up the game. Looks like Clayman taking a bit of damage, leaving Wasteland, so we'll have to be a little bit careful in these upcoming rooms. Probably just going to take out all the enemies with charge shots. Oh, and In No Rush with a Tier 1 subscription for 11 months in a row now. Thank you, In No Rush. Yeah, really at this point for Hilborn, he would need to be extremely short on ammo, leaving the 4th Metroid room and have to like go back to the ship, or he would just need to like take a death. He does have quite a lead over Clayman, but it is any percent. Anything can happen in this. Now, Clayman leaving Lower Norfair did play it pretty safe in a couple of those rooms, so maintained a good energy count. He had really good ammo when entering Ridley, so even with that health bomb, he's really set for Torian. That's kind of one of the nice things about Old Route, is usually you have a ton of supers already when you leave Lower Norfair, so you usually don't have too much trouble getting drops in the Metroid rooms. Now Hilborn coming up to the baby skip. We'll see if he gets it. Very clean jump so far. Cleared out all the blocks he needs. Nice job. And with 20 and 10, he's going to have 5 spear missiles for his Mother Brain 1 fight, or 1 super and 2 missiles. So as long as he doesn't get sniped like 2 or more times, he'll be good. And actually taking a safety save here right before Mother Brain, not a bad idea considering the lead he has. Well, he does have 5 E-tanks. It's possible to get double hit or even triple hit, I think, by a catch-up beam. So while normally this is a pretty safe amount to have, especially in old route, well, you'll probably see 1 or 2 catch-ups max. Like I said, not a bad idea saving considering his lead, just in case something really goes wrong in this fight. There's 1 catch-up beam for Hilborn, and that's going to be it. And just damaging himself down to under 400 energy so you can get right to that baby cutscene. And at this point, it's pretty much free. You can die to Mother Brain 3, but it's pretty unlikely unless you really make some critical errors. And the escape sequence is pretty straightforward. So barring any major catastrophes, it looks like Hilborn will likely take this one. Meanwhile, Clayman coming up to G4. And it looks like he's on a pretty good pace for himself. I think I said his PB was like a 58. Unless that hasn't been updated, but should be like a mid 50 or so. 50, 56 or 57 maybe, depending on what strats he uses here. Yeah, I think I'm gonna double check and see if he posted it somewhere, if he got a new PB, but it looks like PB pace for him based on the spreadsheet. Okay, thank you, Spirit of Power. So, looks like it wasn't updated on the spreadsheet. He does have a 54, so likely not going to be a PB for him, but still a pretty strong run for himself, I would say. Anything within like a minute or 2 of your PB is probably pretty decent for yourself. And Hilborn taking care of Mother Brain 3, starting his escape sequence. Like I said, pretty straightforward at this point. And Clayman, don't think he's going for baby skip. Oh no, I think he is actually. Oh, never mind. Yeah, baby skip doesn't save too much time. It's like 20 seconds or so. So, not too critical of a strat to learn, especially if you're just starting out. Hilborn coming up to the ship, finishing with an official SRL time of 50:46. GG to Hilborn. And with that, he'll be 2-2 in his group, which is likely going to set him up for a tiebreaker scenario with some of his other group members to see who is going to take second place for this group. It's like Cleyman getting through Mother Brain 1 without too much issue. He'll just be 20 charge shots away. Cleyman getting a couple of catch-ups. Doing a nice job avoiding him though. Damaging himself down under 400. He'll be good to move on to Mother Brain 3. So at this time, while we're kind of waiting for Clayman to go through this cutscene, make sure you follow these runners. I believe their Twitch handles are the same as what you see on screen. Cleyman04 and Hilborn. Both of them putting on quite a show for us today. Both of them pretty spectacular runners in this game. Just drop them a follow. Make sure you get your dear forces in chat for Hilborn. And Clayman with the corner strategies here, just standing in the corner and pumping some charge shot, or not charge shots, hyper beam shots into Mother Brain 3. Just making it look easy. Alright, nice spark up the climb by Clayman. Now he's just one more door away from finishing this. Oh no. Clayman, what's going on? Oh. Yes, okay. Nice job, Clayman. Nice taunt. You had me worried there for a second, but it's all good. Yeah, and unfortunately, if you taunt the animals like that, those blocks actually aren't open, so either at the Alcatraz with high jump or bomb the blocks. And Clayman finishing on the ship with an official SRL time of 57:14, improving his race PB by 12 seconds. So GG. Oh no, I'm sorry, it's 57:02. That was his old race PB, 57:14. It's a nice job, Clayman. And like I said, these two, this is their last match in the group stage. I think with that, Clayman will be out, finishing 0-4 in his group, but still a strong performance for him, especially getting a race PB in a tournament match. That's pretty cool. And the only other match in this group will be between Zost and Balthasar. And depending on how that pans out, we'll see who moves on to the brackets. I'll see if I can get either of these guys in for an interview real quick.
Hello.
Hello, Clayman. GG on your race.
Thanks.
So, yeah, tell me how the race felt for you.
Like the beginning was actually really good. It felt really nice to me, especially as I saw that we're pretty much synced the first like 10 to 15 minutes. It was pretty awesome for me. But the boss fights, they were a mess.
Yeah,
I mean, two of them, that was very scary.
Yeah, I mean, it happens 90%. Very low energy, low ammo. Those situations come up a lot in this, but you did very well being safe when you had to and managing to survive at least.
Yeah, that was my main objective, to at least take it to the end.
So I'm curious, how long have you been running the game now?
Actually, I started speedrunning the game like 2013, but I actually never really was actively running, more like now and then.
Mm-hmm.
But now, since the tourney started, I thought maybe let's go back into the game, and I pretty much improved by like 10 minutes since the tourney started. So, well, I'm pretty much happy with that. My next target will be to go for the new route, even though it might be way too hard for me, but that's what I do.
Hey, man, that's cool. I'm glad this tournament got you to bring your PB down a bit. It's pretty exciting. If you look on the spreadsheet, there's a ton of people that have made huge gains on their PB, so really cool that you came and joined this and showed off a little bit what you can do. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
So, yeah, it looks like based on your record, you won't be going on to the brackets, but I know you just said you're kind of thinking about new routes or anything else you're kind of looking to do with this game now that the tournament's over.
Yeah, I pretty much knew that it's not going to go to the brackets for me since the groups were announced, especially with those in my group.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like everyone had at least 10 minutes faster PBs than me. Like I was hoping to have my opponents to make a major mistake, like dying somewhere, but it didn't happen. So I have to deal with it, but I'm still happy with the tournament overall.
Yeah, well, again, thanks for joining, man. It's really exciting watching both, people like Zost, all the top tier guys, and also people that maybe haven't been playing as long or maybe have been playing a while, just haven't taken the time to work down their PB. So it's been really exciting watching all these matches unfold. And even in this one, like you said, you and Hilborn were very close at the start, and it was pretty cool to watch. He's a pretty good runner, so that's got to feel good keeping up with him for a little bit.
Yeah, it actually did.
But yeah, I think with that, unless you have anything else to say, I think we can start wrapping up a little bit.
No, I'm good. Thanks for having me, and have a nice day, stream.
Yep, thanks for coming in, Clayman, and thanks for participating in our tournament here. So, like I said earlier, this is going to be the only match for us today, but we'll have quite a few coming up during the rest of the week. Tomorrow at 4 p.m. Eastern, we have Cross Product versus Behemoth. And at 9 p.m. Eastern, we have Antinomy versus Mac Attack. Restream channels to be confirmed still. It is the last week of the group stage, so make sure you catch all these last matches here, see how everything plays out. And then next week we'll be moving on to the bracket stage. So once again, make sure you follow these runners, Cleyman04 and Hilborn. And make sure you keep an eye on that schedule so you don't miss any of the final matches here. So thank you for watching, guys, and we will see you next mission.